everyone. In this presentation, I will be discussing on the topic of how to produce a torque in a DC motor as well as how to derive the torque equations. So here we can see what is meant by torque. Torque is nothing but it is defined as turning or twisting moment of a force about an axis. It is always measured by the product of force and the radius at which this particular force is going to act upon. Or in simple words, I can tell it is a product of force into perpendicular distance. Distance is in terms of radius over here, that is r. So if you consider this diagram, this is a wheel which is going to have a rotation. So depends upon number of revolutions or number of rotation it has to perform. This is the radius r, and the force which is going to act upon it is mentioned in terms of an variable f. Angular velocity is nothing but omega, which is expressed in terms of radians per second. So here omega is nothing but 2 pi n divided by 60 radians per second. So you know when the wheel is going to rotate for or revolve for one particular revolution. So for one revolution it is nothing but equal to 360 degree or 2 pi radians. 2 pi radians. So if I want to express it in terms of a radian per second, so it is 2 pi radians divided by 60. So this will be in terms of revolutions per minute. For one revolution, it is taking 2 pi by 60 revolutions per minute. For n number of revolution, it is in terms of 2 pi by 60 into n. So for this is for n revolutions. So it is 2 pi by 60 into n radians per second. Omega is expressed in terms of radians over radians per second over here. So what is the equation in order to calculate the work? So you already know work is nothing but given in terms of force into distance traveled. So distance traveled also I am going to consider it in terms of one revolution over here, which is in terms of f into 2 pi r. So work is expressed in terms of joules. So it is f into 2 pi into r joules. So power developed here, that is the mechanical power which we are going to compute, since it is explained for a DC motor. DC motor is nothing but it is going to accept electrical input and it is going to give me the output in terms of mechanical power. So mechanical power is given in terms of work done divided by time which is taken to perform one particular revolution. So from this particular expression we know that work done is nothing but f into 2 pi r. So f into 2 pi r will be your numerator, divided by time required for one particular revolution is given as 60 divided by n. How we are getting this 60 by n is, so if I want to express in general for n number of revolution, it requires 60 seconds, right? So from this particular expression we came to know that it is requiring 60 seconds. So for n revolution it is requiring 60 seconds. Similarly, to perform one particular revolution or rotation, your wheel is going to have the requirement of 60 divided by n seconds. Divided by n seconds. So that's why we got the expression for time for one revolution as 60 divided by n seconds. So now if I want to express what is the power developed in the motor, I am going to have f into 2 pi r, which is nothing but work over here, and 2 pi n by 60 is written in terms of omega over here. So if you just have a look into this particular expression, it can be written as equal to f into r into 2 pi n divided by 60. So in this expression, F into R is nothing but torque, that is force into perpendicular distance. So that is expressed as T in this particular PM equation. Whereas 2 pi n by 60, this is in terms of radian per second, which we have calculated it as omega in terms of radians per second. Sorry, this is in terms of radians per second. So omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. So your equation for power developed in a DC motor will be equal to torque multiplied by omega, that is angular velocity. So this is the expression for power developed in terms of mechanical power. The torque can be of two types, that is armature torque, one we call it as, another one we call it as a shaft torque. So first let me explain you what is meant by an armature torque. Armature torque is nothing but you will be having a DC motor which is having an armature part. So whatever the torque is developed in this particular motor armature, that is DC motor armature, we call it as an armature torque. Since you already know from the previous expression, that is PM value, that is the mechanical power which is developed in a DC motor, will be equated as equal to torque multiplied by the angular velocity omega. Similarly, I am having an armature torque which is going to yield me the power in terms of P, which is stated as armature torque TA. TA stands for an armature torque over here, multiplied with the angular velocity omega. So that value can be written as equal to TA into omega is nothing but it is written in terms of 2 pi into n. I have not written here in terms of 2 pi n divided by 60. If I am writing it in terms of divided by 60, then it is expressed in terms of revolutions per minute. If I am expressing in terms of just 2 pi into n, it is expressed in the form of revolutions per second. So now I am having TA into 2 pi n watts over here. Similarly, I know in case of a DC motor, the electrical power is getting converted into a mechanical power. So mechanical power can be written as either equal to a value of EB into IA also, wherein we have seen what is this EB. EB is nothing but back EMF. So always it is in opposition with the supply or the applied voltage to the DC motor. So now if I consider this particular value of the power, that is EB into IA, and this particular value of the power, both are nothing but the power which is required, that is which is acquired in case of your armature. So now if I consider or if I equate both these equations, equating 1 and 2, I will be getting the value as TA into 2 pi n, TA into 2 pi n, which is equated for EB into IA. We have already seen in case of a back EMF equation. Once again, I am not dividing it by 60, which means that it is in terms of revolutions per second. So EB value is given in terms of phi into Z into NP divided by A. So now if I consider this particular value in this equation, that is equation 3 in this particular equation, what I have chosen it as TA into 2 pi n. So TA into 2 pi n will be written as equal to phi Z n into P divided by A, substitute for EB this particular equation, multiplied with IA value. So if I just rearrange this expression, I am getting the armature torque written as equal to phi Z n IA divided by 2 pi into P divided by A, which is expressed in terms of a unit called as Newton meter. So if I just do 1 divided by 2 pi, I will be getting the value as 0.159. Rest all I am writing it as it is, that is phi Z IA multiplied by P divided by A Newton meter. So if I want to express it in terms of kg meters, I am just going to divide it by 9.81. So this particular equation, if I divide it by 9.81, I am going to obtain the value, that is 0.159 divided by 9.81 will be equal to 0.0162 multiplied with phi Z IA into P by A, which is expressed by unit called as kg meter. So according to the given problem, whether it is in Newton meter form or kg meter form, you can use the suitable expressions. So in the previous slide, we have seen this particular equation, that is armature torque TA is equal to 0.159 phi Z into IA into P divided by A Newton meter. If you consider this equation, here almost all the terms are constant, that is the value of Z, that is number of conductor, is constant. number of poles is fixed, and number of parallel paths, that is A, is also fixed or a constant value. Here only the variable terms we can find is phi as well as Ia. So I can write the torque equation, armature torque, directly proportional to phi multiplied with Ia. So depending upon the application, whether I am using the application for a series type or shunt type of DC motor, the phi value is going to change. That is in terms of an armature current, whether it is having a constant value or whether it is in direct proportionality, depends upon the type of application. If I use the application in terms of series motor, then I have already told you in the concept of distinct types or classification of the DC motor that phi value is almost remaining constant with respect to the armature current Ia. So if I substitute that in this main equation, torque, armature torque TA will be directly proportional to Ia multiplied with Ia. Ia multiplied with Ia is nothing but giving us the equation as Ia square. If it is used for a shunt type of DC motor, in case of shunt DC motor, the phi value is remaining almost constant. So if I substitute it once again in the main equation of armature torque, that is proportionality equation, torque TA is directly proportional to Ia, because phi is almost a constant term, so I can write it as directly proportional to Ia. Also, I had quoted you one equation in terms of back EMF, that is the back EMF value EB multiplied with Ia will be equal to the armature torque TA multiplied by 2 pi into N. So this EB into Ia is nothing but the armature power, I can call it as PA, or I can call it as the mechanical power, because in case of a DC motor you are going to apply electrical power as the input and you will be obtaining the mechanical power as the output, which will be developed in the armature part. So it is either PM, or sometimes it may also be designated as an armature power PA also. So this is nothing but the armature torque TA multiplied with the 2 pi into N. Once again, this is also considered to be the power which is with respect to the armature of winding of a DC motor. So in the previous slide also we have equated both the equations. So from this I can write what is the armature torque. So armature torque, if I want to calculate from this expression, I can write it as equal to EB into Ia divided by 2 pi multiplied with N. The same thing I have written over here also, that is armature torque TA is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi into EBIA divided by N. So this will be in terms of Newton meter. So 1 by 2 pi can be written as equal to 0.159 EB into Ia divided by N, unit expressed in terms of Newton meters. Once again, if I want to convert this into kg meter, then straight away divide this particular value with 9.81, which is going to yield us a value of 0.0162 into EBIA divided by N. So this particular value will be expressed in terms of kg meter. So depending upon the problem asked, whether the value is given in terms of Newton meter or in terms of kg meter, use an appropriate equation. If it is in terms of kg meter, mandatorily you have to use the constant term as equal to 0.0162. If it is given in terms of Newton meter, then constant value should be used as 0.159. Depending upon whether the problem is given with the value of back EMF, or you have it in terms of phi, Z, Ia and all, depending upon that number of poles as well as number of parallel paths, you can use any of these equation in order to calculate the armature torque. All these equations which I have explained you just now, it is without dividing the value by 60. So if I am dividing the value by 60, it means that the speed is expressed in terms of RPM. So now till here it is expressed in terms of RPS value. Wherever I find the notation as N, it is expressed in terms of RPS. Now if I want to express it in terms of RPM, I am just using the same equation. So TA is equal to EB into Ia divided by 2 pi N. if I just divide it by 60, once again it will be expressed in terms of RPM value. So this can be rewritten as equal to 1 divided by 1 into 60 divided by 2 pi into EB into IA divided by N. So if I just calculate this particular term, 60 divided by 2 pi, it will be yielding me the value of 9.55. So 9.55 into EBIA divided by N, which is expressed in terms of Newton meter unit. If I want to convert it in terms of kg meter, once again I have to divide it by 9.81 factor. So this is regarding how to derive the expression for an armature torque. So we have seen what is meant by armature torque in the previous slide. Now we will see the second kind of torque, that is called as shaft torque, which is nothing but torque which is made available at the motor shaft, which is used for performing or doing a useful work. So here once again output is nothing but power, which is expressed in terms of a shaft torque multiplied by 2 pi into N. Again I am not dividing it with the factor of 60, which means that I am considering the value in terms of RPS. I am not considering it in terms of RPM. Now, if I consider the value or the expression for TSH, I am just rearranging this equation, that is output, which will be in terms of watts divided by 2 pi N. So, this will be in terms of Newton meter value, which is in terms of RPS. That is, I have not divided this value or parameter by 60, which means that it will be in terms of revolutions per second. If I want the factor in terms of revolutions per minute, then just divide this by a factor of 60. So TSH will be given in terms of output in watts divided by 2 pi N divided by 60, that much Newton meter. So if I just divide the constant terms, once again I will be getting it in terms of 9.55, that is 1 divided by 2 pi divided by 60, or it is just 60 divided by 2 pi. If I do, it will be 9.55. So I can just show you here the constant terms. So it is 1 divided by 1 into 60 divided by 2 pi multiplied with output, which will be in terms of watts divided by the parameter N. So you will be getting the value of 60 divided by 2 pi as equal to 9.55, output divided by N, which will be expressed in terms of Newton meter. Once again, if I want to express this equation in terms of kg meter, just manipulate the equation by dividing it with a factor of 9.81. So this gives you the shaft torque. So hope you understood how to compute the value or how to derive the torque equation in terms of both armature torque as well as the shaft torque. Coming to the next concept, that is speed of a DC motor. So we have already seen while deriving the expression for the back EMF, we have seen this particular equation. So if you just recall the concept of back EMF, you will come to know from where you got this equation. So we have drawn the DC motor representation, that is in terms of circuit diagram, wherein we have applied a KVL and we have obtained the equation as EB is equal to V minus IA into RA. What is this back EMF? I have divided it by 60, which means that I have considered revolutions per minute formula, and EB value is 5ZNP divided by 60A, which is equated as equal to V minus IA into RA. From this, calculate what is the value of N. N value will come out as V minus IA into RA divided by 5 into 60A divided by ZP. This is just rearranging the equation from this particular form. So I can write here V minus IA into RA. V minus IA into RA is nothing but EB. If you see in this equation, V minus IA into RA is equal to value of back EMF EB. That's why it is written as EB over here. So it is EB divided by phi multiplied by 60A divided by ZP. So this equation can be further simplified like this. So N value is given as equal to EB divided by phi into 60A divided by ZP, where once again EB is nothing but the back EMF, phi is the flux, A is the number of parallel paths, P is the number of poles, and Z is the number of conductors. So if I see in this equation, 60 is a constant term, number of parallel paths will remain constant, number of conductors will remain constant, also the number of poles will remain constant. Only the variable term over here is EB divided by phi. So this entire 60A divided by ZP, I will be assuming it as a constant parameter K multiplied with EB divided by phi. From this I can write the speed value, the N value, which is called as speed of a DC motor, will be directly proportional to the back EMF and it will be inversely proportional to the flux. So N is directly proportional to EB and inversely proportional to phi, or it is EB by phi. So now if I consider two distinct cases, wherein for the first case N1 will be considered as directly proportional to EB1 divided by phi1. For the second case, N2 is considered as directly proportional to EB2 divided by phi2. If I just divide both of these, N1 divided by N2, I will be obtaining the equation as N2 by N1 is equal to EB2 divided by EB1 multiplied by phi1 divided by phi2. Where your N1 is speed of the first case, N2 is the speed in the second case, EB1 and EB2 are the back EMF in first as well as second case respectively, whereas phi1 and phi2 are the flux which is considered in terms of case 1 and case 2. So this kind of relationship between speed, back EMF as well as flux will be useful when you are going to solve the problem in DC motors pertaining to two distinct cases. So you will be having two distinct cases given in a single problem, wherein these kind of formulas will be very much useful. So depending upon the type of motor, once again what we are using, I will be designating whether the flux is directly proportional to the armature current or it is almost constant value. So as I have already told, once again for series kind of DC motor, the flux value will be considered directly proportional to the armature current. So phi1 will be directly proportional to Ia1, whereas phi2 will be directly proportional to Ia2. So in this equation, above equation, I got the relationship between speed, back EMF as well as flux in this manner. So instead of flux phi1 and phi2, I will just replace it as Ia1 and Ia2. So EB2 divided by EB1 multiplied with Ia1 divided by Ia2 will be giving me the ratio of the speed in the second as well as the first case. So that is in case of series motor. Coming to the shunt kind of DC motor, both the values phi1 and phi2 will remain same. So equal or constant value. So now I can just manipulate in this main equation. N2 divided by N1 will be equal to EB2 divided by EB1. I will assume phi1 and phi2 are same, so both these terms will get cancelled out and we are remaining only with the ratio of back EMF in the second case to the back EMF in the first case. So this is the relationship what you are going to use when you are going to determine one of the unknown parameter. Either it may be in terms of speed in first case or second case, or it may be in terms of back EMF in first or second case, or it may be in terms of armature current in first or the second case. Hope you understood how to derive the torque equations categorized in terms of armature torque as well as shaft torque. What is the definition of armature and shaft torque? How you are going to derive the expression individually for both these kind of armature as well as shaft torque, and what is the relationship for the speed in a DC motor when you are going to take into consideration for a series kind, when you are going to take into consideration of a shunt kind. So hope you understood this concept. Thank you for listening.